Hi, it's Karen in A Day in the Life with Karen and Sarah. And I have two planner reviews for you today. One is the Ultimate Homeschool Planner by Deborah Bell. And the other is the 2017-2018 Planner for the Homeschooling Family, A Simple Plan by Mardell. I'm going to go ahead and start with this one first, the Ultimate Homeschool Planner. Okay, both planners are about the same size. Obviously, the Mardell is much thicker and has the tabs for the month, for every month, and is wire bound. So you can definitely see a difference in the two in size. Okay, so let's look at this one first. It has a plastic cover with a pocket on the inside. Then it has your calendar, and these calendars are academic calendars, so they run through July through June of the next year. So here we have July 2017 through June 2018. So, and this goes all the way through 2023, the school year. On this page we have your where you can put your school year, the name, address, phone number, the students you have, and the grades. Both of these planners will accompany up to 6 students. I just have one, so I don't have I have extra sheets that I'll be able to use then. It shows that there are other planners. They have a planner for students, and then they have a planner for teens as well. There is a Welcome to the Ultimate Homeschool Planning System. It's a great read, and then there's a table of contents. And then they go on to tell you about how to use the Ultimate Homeschool Planning System. They do talk about establishing a yearly planning retreat. They say that's like 4 to 8 hours. I don't go anywhere and do a planning retreat. I never have. I just stay at home and work through my plan for the year. It is, though, really a good idea, especially as a homeschool mom, that you do take some time and work on your year and look for the things that might have you being taken off, vacations, things like that. It's really good to get an idea of, you know, the days that may be coming off, that you may be having off. And then they talk about weekly planning, Monday tutorials, finish with Friday afternoon reviews, and then they give you like steps to work towards your student being an independent learner. And then they go on and they actually break it down for you here, the yearly planning retreat, fill in the grid with events that will override your weekly schedule, and that's for every month that you're going to do that. And then you need to, sit down and figure out what's the priorities for your family for the year, kind of like your mission statement, etc. Then you can review last year, go over last year, things that you want to work on for your student for this year, goals, academic goals, character goals, things like that. Make sure you put your family priorities in on this planning as well. Then it goes on to your monthly planning, your weekly planning, and then we continue with the user guide, and then your Monday morning tutorials. That's where your student, if they have a planner, can come in and write down the assignments that they are going to have for the week. And then your Friday afternoon reviews. That's where you sit down with your students and go over their work for the week. And they have in the teen track, they have a circle with 4 pieces of the pie, and that represents each 25 minutes. So 1 hour, your teen can use the time icon to track the number of hours spent studying a subject. Traditionally, a 1 credit or full year course represents 120 hours of class time. So that's really helpful. And then it's important to sit down with your teen and talk with your teen about how things are going, areas that they're struggling with, etc. So here we are. Here's your 1 year planning grid. So here, like for instance, is July. You would date it And then you would put in any times that you would have off, and it goes all the way through June. Here is where you would put your student's name, the character goals, and the academic goals for the year. And you have plenty of pages. You have 6 spots for that. Then you have family priorities. And then these family priorities are things that you may pray over the year and just see how the Lord blesses you throughout this coming school year. Then you have your pre-planning guide. Use this form to list the resources you're planning to use with each child. So again, you can use up to 6 students. And then we get to the monthly overview. This is really nice because it isn't dated. It does allow you to go in and date it. So if you looked at this and thought, oh, maybe, and then found a different planner, you could choose to hang on to this one and use it a different year or whatever, because it's not dated. And then you have areas for notes down here, over here, or even on the side, or list prayers, requests, whatever. And then you have room to put in any appointments, whatnot. I will say I do use an Erin Condren Life Planner for our family outside of school. So that carries all of my appointments, vacations, things like that. They will also go in here, but I also use an Erin Condren Life Planner as well. I like to keep as much of this I like to keep kind of school separated from personal life, so that, or not personal life, but outside of school. Things that we do outside of school, I kind of like to keep separated. It just works easier in my mind. There's a scripture verse on the bottom, which is really nice to have. And again, a monthly view, okay. So monthly goes, let me get back here too. So monthly starts here and goes all the way through here. I'm not really sure if I'm going to like the monthly set up this way, because when you're trying to plan, you're going to be doing a lot of flipping back and forth. So I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that. And then we come on to our weekly planner. So you would sit down maybe whenever you would get the chance, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and look over the week, look over the supplies you might have, things like that, scripture verses that you want to concentrate on for the week, things you want to, things that you want to pray over, hospitality outreach if you do that. Then it's a place, they have a place over here where you can put this week's memorable moments, family funnies, victories, progress, promising signs, small beginnings, finished projects, can all go over here. And then down below, you have a place where you can put evidence of God's grace, God's mercy, faithfulness, protection, and provision, and it can come under here under the evidences of grace, which is really kind of nice, because sometimes I know I forget to record the blessings that come along that we weren't really expecting. And then we have the week of up here, and you can do this however you want to set it up. For me, I only have one student, so I could put her subjects up here, and then Monday through Friday, or I could put the subjects up here, Monday through Friday, however I'd want to do it, however it works. If you have multiple students, you can put the students down here and the subjects across, or the students and the subjects. However you want to plan it, set it up. It's your planner. You need to set it up however it's going to work best for your family. Over here they have a note, supplies, and appointments that you can fill in here so you can see it as well. And then there's like a quote, like this one is, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire," by William Butler Yeats. And so this goes on for week to week, and it stays just the same. And then we go all the way back to, I will say this, one of the things that does concern me with this particular planner is the paper feels thin to me, And so I would be afraid, depending on what marker or pen you would choose to use, it may bleed through from week to week, and that would concern me a little bit, but I haven't tried it. I just got the planners and I've really just started looking at them. So your weekly planner goes all the way through, and then you have a records or grade sheet. So your student, the subject scores, and then their total grade for the year. And then you have a reading list that you can have for each student. Title, author, type. Was it assigned reading, independent reading, nonfiction, fiction? It's a great way to keep track of the books your children are reading outside of school. And we have several. Then you have field trips, outside activities. And then at the back they have some checklists for raising an independent learner, teaching tips. What about how to motivate the reluctant learner? So they have some really good ideas to read through. Even as someone who's been homeschooling for a long time, it's really nice to go back and read some of these things and refresh your mind. And then you have how to identify how your children learn. That's one of the really important things, and one of the really nice things with homeschooling is you know your children. You know better than anyone else how your children learn. And so being able to develop a curriculum around their ideas and how they learn is really helpful. Additional teaching tips. And then they have a high school planning guide. This is where I'm at. My daughter will be in 10th grade in the fall. So I'll be filling in this 9th grade so that we can make sure that we're keeping her on track. The other thing I think is really important, especially as your kids are older, is sitting down with them and talking with them about the year. How did they think it went? What were their strong ideas? What was strong for them, what they really liked, what they didn't like, etc. So I think those are all really important too, that you do sit down with your kids and talk with them. And then you have a year in review pages, and then they have another folder in the back and a Bible verse. So that is the Ultimate Homeschool Planner. And now we will move on to the 2017-2018 Planner for the Homeschooling Family, a simple plan. Okay, so let's look at the 2017-2018 Planner for the Homeschooling Family. Again, it has a pocket folder up here. This is wire bound. I will say my binding got a little messed up when it got bound, but I think I can make it work. And again, we have a welcome. It is dated, so it has calendar, student planning, monthly planning, weekly, student records, extras. This does not include any spots for budgeting or fitness plans, chore charts, anything like that, because we're just kind of trying to keep it really simple. Again, you have a place where you can put name, address, phone number, and then you can list your children, their birthday, age, grade, what they like. And then they give you sample pages as well. So like they give you the student, where you can actually do a weekly schedule for your student, the subject, and then what curriculum you're using and who it's by. And then you have, you can do a yearly overview for each subject for each child, which is really nice as well. And then they show you that you have a July at a glance, things you want to accomplish, special activities, supplies you might need, and a reading list as well. And then you have your month at a glance, prayer request notes, and then it's really nice because it has last month and the next month calendar that you can see as well. And then you have the example of the subject and who's doing what and the dates. This particular planner is dated for 2017 and 2018. May give you an idea. You can use each child's initials to designate the lesson and assignment so you can save space. Again, it will work up to 6 students. And you can do your subject, grade, curriculum, name and publisher, where you got it, and the price you paid, and any notes that you have beside it. And then you can keep track of your attendance, and then it will let you know when you go through. You can add up how many days you went first semester, second semester, absent, and then you have your total days for the year. And then you have your really nice tabs. So then you can use the planning section to note holidays, other special days that will fall, and make sure that you're on track to make sure you're going to get in the necessary days for whatever your state says you have to have school days, number of school days, dates to remember, and they even give you the holidays so you can go ahead and mark those off in your calendar as well. So here's what an empty weekly schedule would look like. In the subject curriculum, your yearly overview, and this gives you plenty of room. They give you plenty of these so you can do all the subjects necessary. So here you're doing your yearly overview, and then here's your next student and their weekly schedule and their overview and so forth. And this goes on to, and then you have a page where you can do some future planning. If you're finding things that are working, then those are great and you can continue making notes about those. Then you start with July. There's always a Bible verse on the first page of the month of July. Again, it's the things that you want to accomplish, activities, supplies, reading lists. And then here's your month at a glance. And this is really nice to have versus the Ultimate Homeschool Planner. You have your month at a glance and then you begin your week. Where this one is all the months are together and then you start your weekly planning. So I'm not quite sure. I'm used to something looking more like this versus having the months all together. And this paper is definitely heavier than the Ultimate Homeschool Planner, but again, I haven't written on it, so I don't know as far as bleeding issues to the next page or anything like that. Notes, prayer requests, and again, you have the previous month and the upcoming month. So then you can begin to put your subject and then your planning and your notes. And so then you have a note sheet at the end. Again, you could use the note sheet for any, you could use it for anything. You could put it for prayer requests that were answered or special memories, field trips, whatever you happen to do, you can use that note section for. So all the months are just the same. So I'm going to go ahead and skip through June. And then we have a tab for student records, and you have attendance and curriculum records. So this is where you're going to keep track of your student and the days they were present or that the day you completed for each day. And it'll total up your first semester and second semester days present, absent, and your total. So you can keep track of that as well. Then you have, again, your curriculum tracker, additional materials you may have purchased. And then in the back, we have a grading chart, suggested reading list by grade level, and then steps to salvation, my salvation testimony, and then extracurricular activities, and then scriptures that you could choose to memorize throughout the year. And then you have a note section and another folder in the back. The Ultimate Homeschool Planner is a little bit more detailed in how to set up your planner and how to use their planner versus a simple plan. I like them both. There's things about both of them that I really, really like. And it's all, I'm not sure which one I'm really going to use come the fall, but I need to make up my mind soon so I can continue on planning. They both have pros and cons about them both. The wire binding with this is a concern for me. And, you know, when you start to add stuff, is it, you know, am I going to have trouble, you know, getting, you know, keeping it together and things like that. That's a concern because it wasn't put together right. So I don't know. And then with this one, like I said, the pages are a concern because they are thin and I'm concerned about bleeding through onto the next page. So they're great planners. These particular planners were designed by homeschoolers. So there's an advantage versus homes like a Erin Condren or something else that's not, they have a teacher planner, but that's based for somebody that has multiple students in a classroom. So they're both great. They're both great planners. I'm excited about both of them, and I will let you know which one I decide to use. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more planning videos, things like that, give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.